Hi guys, so today I'm building a wire and brass tube armature with replacement body parts. I'll show you the drawing and making of two armatures and an adult male and a teenager, which are pretty similar except for size and some parts. So this is the drawing of the adult male armature. Here's an example of an adult armature with 4 strands of aluminum wire. However, the ones we're making today is only 2 strands. I find it to be more flexible. Let's draw the adult armature. You'll need graph paper, ruler, pencil, and 4 colored pencils. We begin by sketching the general outline. My adult armature is normally between 7.5 to 9 inches in height and about 1.25 to 1.5 inches in width. I believe this puppet was 8 to 8.5 inches in height for the adult. Then I sketch the shape as shown and start adding the parts of the armature. I keep it color coded for the different elements. Here I'm sketching for the teenager. It's pretty much like the adult sketch. This teenager is about 7.5 inches in height. Now let's go over some tools needed to make the armature. We need a desk clamp to hold the wire when I twist it. Here I demonstrate how to set it up on your table. We'll need a Dremel, and I demonstrate how to add the metal cutting blade to the Dremel. I found this Dremel with all its parts at Lowe's hardware store. The Dremel came in a kit with some parts, and I purchased a separate toolkit as well to get all the tools I needed for my project. Make sure you hear that click and that the blade is secure before you turn on the machine. We'll also need a drill. I found this Black & Decker pretty reasonable at Lowe's hardware store as well. And I also purchased a toolkit with the extra parts I needed for my projects. If you don't have a Dremel to cut the brass tube, you can purchase a jeweler's saw. You'll need a needle nose pliers, aluminum, steel, and steel wire, magnets if you opt for magnet. You're going to cut the tubes into about 1/4 of an inch pieces. Of course, you'll need the armature sketch, Oti Putty, found in the plumber section at Lowe's. You want the Fix-It stick. It has 2 colors that when mixed, it hardens quickly. You'll need paper scotch tape, glove, Hexer T-nuts and washers, machine screws and wing nuts to fasten the armature to the plywood, which you drill the necessary holes into. Limbs. We use the smaller size brass tube on the limbs, backbone, and neck pieces. The larger brass tube is secured in the chest area and the pelvic and hip area. Now let me demonstrate the twisting of the wire that I use for the armatures. We get a piece about 16 inch in length, and here we'll use the drill and the clamp. I demonstrate. First, secure the wire in the clamp. I use a piece of terry cloth always when securing metals because it prevents abrasions to the metal. Then we secure the wire in the drill mouth as shown. Turn it on to either low or medium speed. I would suggest low if you're a beginner, but to make sure you stretch the wire taut. Don't twist too tightly as it compromises the strength of the wire, however. Now let's measure for the pieces for the armature. We start with the leg. You'll need a pencil and a wire cutter or garden shear. For the adult male, we'll use both the 5/32-inch tube that will be attached to the limbs, backbone, and neck pieces, and the 3/16 of an inch brass tube pieces, which will be secured to the chest piece and the pelvic and hip piece. This is for the 2 twisted wire armature, this size of brass tubing. For the armatures using the 4 twisted wires, you will of course need larger brass tubes. And I recommend the 4 twisted wires for heavier puppets or puppets that will not require a lot of flexible movements when animating. Here I'm twisting a circle into the ends of the arm piece. This will act as a wrist joint for the hand piece that will be added as a separate and fully removable piece. Next, we cut for the backbone. And for the neck, I chose to use 18 gauge aluminum wire. It's a little more pliable and it allows for greater bending of the neck, purely optional. Now, I'm following basically the same technique in putting together the armature for the teenager. Here I demonstrate shaping the feet so that I can get the hex nut in place. And now I'm demonstrating how to cut the brass using either the jeweler saw or the Dremel tool, cutting to about 1/4 of an inch per piece. Now I'll demonstrate how to put the pieces together. You'll need the OT putty, gloves. Use gloves and have good ventilation when working with this product, and brass tube pieces. I demonstrate how to glue the 5/32 of an inch brass tube pieces to the aluminum wire pieces. I use crazy glue for this. I find it to be the strongest hold. So the feet, cover the nut with paper tape. It keeps the putty from seeping into the hole. You'll need the hole to be clean so you can screw your machine screw in. Also do the same for the brass pieces. Cut a small square of paper tape and tape close one end of the brass tube. These are the larger brass tube pieces, the 3/16 of an inch that will be bonded in the chest piece that's made from putty, and the pelvic and hip piece also made from putty. Now, cut a 3/4 of an inch piece of putty mix and mix it quickly. Make sure that all your brass pieces is already taped on one end because the putty dries quickly. Unfortunately, I was working so fast, I didn't notice I was off camera, but basically what I did was create a chest shape as on the armature drawing, and I stuck the tape ends directly into the putty as shown. Arms on either side, neck centered top, backbone centered bottom. I use an X-Acto knife to clean out the putty that covered any openings, and a tip, let it dry completely before you stick any limbs in. But if a piece from the putty falls out, just stick it back in with crazy glue. It bonds really well. Now we make the pelvic and work fast with the putty to shape and add brass pieces because it dries, like I said, very quickly. My method is create the basic shape. You can use the armature drawing as a guide and then stick the pieces into the appropriate area. For the torso, it's 2 pieces on the bottom for either leg and 1 centered on the top for the backbone. Now I'm adding the putty to the feet. As seen here, I only do half of the feet, the half extending to the toes because I need the feet to bend when I animate the puppet walking. I put the hex nut tape side up into the open portion. I sized 4 on the feet, and then I mix the putty quickly. About a 1/4 inch slice of putty will do. if you need more, you can always add some more quickly. Then I created the outline as that of the front part of a shoe. Making sure I keep the opening clean for the hex nut. You size how big you want the feet appropriately to the size of puppet that you're creating. Bigger feet for bigger puppets, which would entail bigger hex nuts or T nuts, etc. What I'm doing here is adding some putty to the limbs of the puppet. I add a part to the upper leg and a part to the calf. The same with the hand, I add some to the upper arm and some to the lower arm. Don't do it too thickly. Keep it proportional to the puppet's size. You don't want the puppet to be too heavy. What it does is when you're bending the limbs to create movement, it designates the areas that can be bent. The bone protects certain areas of the arm and the legs so that it will not bend when animating or when creating movements. I just did this as a quick demonstration to show you how to secure the puppet's feet to a surface and the parts you'll need. You'll need, of course, the hex or T nuts in the feet. You'll need a machine screw, washer, and wing nut. For the teenage puppet, I use number 6 for all the parts, and for the adults, I use number 8. Follow as demonstrated. The black piece of paper I'm using here represents the surface that the puppet would be screwed onto. For example, it could be plywood, metal, etc. And that's it. We're done. Thanks for watching.